Hi everyone, welcome back to Christopher's Models and Dioramas. This is a start to finish build project. The last two videos were introductory videos. They gave you an idea what the channel is going to be about. But this will be the start to finish. Well, the figures we're going to be using are this cow and her calf. Materials we're going to be using is, as far as the base goes, this was a dinner tray that you used to clip onto your armchair, but one of the pieces of it were broke. So instead of throwing it away, I took it apart, sanded it down so it'll sit nice and level, masking taped all the edges off of it because it was hollow, an empty part of the tray, so you can set things in there and it wouldn't slide off or bump around. I took this SPF foam, I believe that's what it's called. It's used for going under vinyl siding and aluminum siding. Some places who make boats will use this as well. I cut it, not exactly, I'm not very good at cutting into measurements, and chipped it away, and I glued it in here really nice and snug. Then I took and I planned out where I wanted everything to be. The general idea, because as you're building, sometimes things will change. But I know I want the cow to be right about here. This is the general center of the project. I want the calf to be kind of close to her, so I may later on reposition her and the calf just slightly. You know, it just depends. When you're building anything like this, diorama, you want to put, it doesn't matter if it's a small building, a large building, a vehicle, or even a group of people. You want to put them center of it so that the story focuses on them, but you don't want them so to stand out so much that they hide some of the other detail. Now I went ahead and pre-made some of the boulders that I'm going to be using, and then in another video I'm going to have to make a couple others, but which will be in the next video. I'll show you how to use plaster in a different way to make certain types of rock formations without having to spend a lot of money by going and buying molds or less reliable techniques like that. Molds, they get expensive. But the trick I found, inexpensive, and it's inexpensive and it's incredibly easy, and it doesn't take as long as you think. Now, even though I've marked this out, I'm still going to put a coating of plaster over this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a photo, and I'll keep it handy of what I have and wanting to where everything at in relation to where the elephants are going to be. And later on I can go back and look at that photo, because I know that this is the front, the back, their elephant's going to be facing that way. And even though I'm not going to be working at this angle direction all the time, I can look at that photo and I can go, okay, this is where I had to where this was planned out, well, that's going to be planned out, and I can go back to use it. The more notes you take and on what you're going to do, is going to save you some trouble from making mistakes later on in your build. But that doesn't mean you're going to have to readjust things as builds go along, because sometimes that happens. For the tall grass, I'm using baler's twine. You can get this at farm supply places, sometimes hobby stores and craft stores will have it. What I like about this stuff is it actually is just that. It's a lot like the natural grass that you're going to see in forested places or around prairies, and even in savannas where some elephants are. And it's really, and it takes to paint like crazy. I mean, like there's no tomorrow. This stuff is easy to paint. And the great thing about what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, because it's not going to all be this color, I'm going to have some green, is that you won't need a paintbrush to paint it. It's a trick I learned. Remember what I said, this stuff takes to paint like crazy, and it's easy to use. There's a dry brushing technique that you can use without using a paintbrush. You won't need one of these to paint this to get a great result. If you can save a few steps and still get great results, more power to you. As far as the ground clutter goes, the trees, I have a few lead limbs around it. I will show you how to make realistic looking limbs. Sometimes I'll even go and get some out of the yard. But this is a combination of flocking that I've used before It's inexpensive seasonings that you can get at a grocery store. The stuff lasts a long time. It's parsley and oregano. It's finely chopped up with model railroad flocking. I use forest green on all mine. And that's where we're going to go. Total time on this, maybe 6 months. New video about every 4 to 5 days, showing you how I'm going to go about putting the plaster and the type of mix I use, because I don't mix the plaster according to the rules, because I don't want this stuff to be able to be pour out and go sloshy running everywhere. I want it to be slightly thick so I can layer it on with a paste, like a paste. There's a trick that some people use, they use a glue, but I use a combination of mixing it, the plaster, just slightly, just maybe slightly drier than normal, with some of that glue, so that I can paste it, lay it on here in a paste uniform color. Then we're going to talk about how to paint the overlay, the base, the plaster, what the earth tone you're going to use. But like I said, maybe 6-7 months to build this. The tree, regular wooden dowel that you can get at any craft or hobby store, because it's an elephant. It's going to be a large tree. I've already cut this, measured it to where I want it, how far down I'm going to put it into the base, what type of leaf materials. But the next video after this, we'll go to talk about the plaster on here. So look for that in about 4 days or 5, depends. Until next time, I hope you have a great week. I hope things are doing fine for you. And if you're not getting messy while you're doing this, you're not doing it right. So stay messy, get messy, have fun. Take care, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions or comments you'd like to leave them down below. Thank you.